from JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, April the 12th, 2018. Israel's President Reuven Rivlin led some 12,000 people from across the globe on the 30th annual March of the Living in Poland today. Holocaust survivors, Jewish leaders, international dignitaries, and thousands of young people, many of them wrapped in the Israeli flag, all making their way along the 2 miles from the Auschwitz death camp to the Birkenau extermination camp, which housed Nazi gas chambers and crematoria during the Holocaust. Rivlin was joined in the Israeli delegation by IDF Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Gadi Eisenkot, as well as the heads of the Mossad, Shin Bet, and Israel Police. Rivlin said of the event, "We did not march from Auschwitz to Birkenau, from Auschwitz I to Auschwitz II. We marched from death to life, from the Holocaust to rebirth, from Auschwitz to Jerusalem." Rivlin said each footstep in this march was a step in the history of the Jewish people. Eisenkot addressed the gathering as well, saying, "I am the chief of the General Staff and the head of the IDF delegation as part of the Israeli president's delegation to Poland during Israel's 70th year, and I promise never again." Poland's President Andrzej Duda joined Rivlin at the march. He said, "We come together because we do remember and want to pass on the truth to future generations to demonstrate that the demonic plan of the Germans who wanted to wipe out the Jewish nation failed." Duda said, "Our presence here is a sign of the victory of life over death, memory over oblivion." And U.S. President Donald Trump issued a proclamation yesterday for Yom HaShoah. He said Americans have a moral obligation to combat anti-Semitism, confront hate, and prevent genocide. The president said we must ensure that the history of the Holocaust remains forever relevant and that no people suffer those tragedies ever again. And in Israel today, life came to a halt to remember and honor the 6 million. At 10 a.m. local time in Israel, a 2-minute siren was sounded across the country, bringing traffic and all business and regular daily routine to a complete standstill, marking the beginning of today's Yom HaShoah commemorations. Immediately after the siren, a wreath-laying ceremony took place, and the state official ceremony as well at Yad Vashem, the World Holocaust Remembrance Center in Jerusalem, as well as a name-reading ceremony at the Knesset, with participation from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. At the state ceremony last night at Yad Vashem, Netanyahu said that during the Holocaust, we were helpless, defenseless, and voiceless. In truth, he said, our voice was not heard at all. Today, Netanyahu said, we have a strong country, a strong army, and our voice is heard among the nations. And he also issued a warning to the regime in Iran not to test Israel's resolve. And in what seemed like a response from Iran to the prime minister's comments, the Fars news agency reported that senior aide to Ayatollah Khomeini, Ali Shirazi, said Tehran could destroy Israel, saying if Israel wants to continue its treacherous existence, it should avoid stupid measures. He said if they give excuses to Iran, Tel Aviv and Haifa will be destroyed. The IDF once again today responded to violent aggression from Gaza. Yesterday, if you recall, an explosive device that was planted at the Gaza security fence was detonated near an IDF engineering vehicle. No damage or injury was caused. In response, Israel Air Force jets hit a number of Hamas terror targets in Gaza last night. Early this morning, a Palestinian terror cell fired with machine guns at an Israeli aircraft but did not hit it. The IDF said that an IAF aircraft intercepted that terror cell and stated once again that it holds terror group Hamas accountable for all occurrences originating from Gaza and will respond firmly against all attempts to commit acts of terror towards Israeli civilians or IDF troops. The Times of Israel, meanwhile, reports that a bullet from the machine guns used by the Palestinian terrorists this morning actually landed in the home of a family in kibbutz Sha'ar HaNegev. The bullet apparently came down after missing the Israeli jet and came through the roof of the kibbutz, which is near the Gaza border. into the family's shower. There was some damage, but no injuries, as the gunfire had triggered warning sirens in the area, and the family was in a bomb shelter at the time. A new survey taken by the Claims Conference on Jewish Material Claims Against Germany was published today on Yom HaShoah. The National Survey of Holocaust Awareness and Knowledge among Adults in the United States found that 22% of 18 to 24-year-olds said they never heard of the Holocaust, and that 41% of those young adults believe that only 2 million Jews or less were killed in the Holocaust. But on the positive side, the majority of those asked said it was important to keep teaching about the Holocaust so that it never happens again. Claims Conference Executive Vice President Greg Schneider said there remain troubling gaps in Holocaust awareness while survivors are still with us. Imagine, he said, when there are no longer survivors here to tell their stories. We must be committed to ensuring the horrors of the Holocaust and the memory of those who suffered so greatly are remembered, told, and taught by future generations. And we continue here on JBS with our special programming for Yom HaShoah tonight for Thursday, April the 12th. At 7 o'clock, Arlette Levy-Baker talks about how her family perished in Nazi-occupied France. That's from a Yom HaShoah commemoration at Temple Shalom in Greenwich, Connecticut. At 8, Rabbi Hanoch Teller talks about heroic children during the Holocaust. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Dr. Naomi Vilko on being the child of Holocaust survivors on L'chaim. At 10, Survivors Look Back. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, Nina Wolf-Feld tells the story of her father's journey during the Holocaust in a program from ISGAP. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, April the 12th, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.